prefecture people. Welcome to Getting Tabled. Welcome to the Jwar Isles. I'm one of your hosts, Jason the Bruce, and we have Brother Bear.
G'day, how you going?
And today, we're looking at, well, the Birdie Wolf Boys.
That would make an awesome grunge band, the Birdie Wolf Boys.
Ooh, I like
I'd
that
buy
idea.
that single. Yeah,
The reason the Shiho are the newest faction for the game, and probably, I mean, I want to say it's the new hotness, but they're also a faction. They're one of the first factions that had two different starter boxes as well. But both of those are very different starter factions. One is the Open Rebellion, which is the Wolf ones that I mentioned earlier. That's about, what, a year and a half old now?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
And then the most recent one is about 3 months ago, which is the Shiho Clan starter set. That's the new hotness, essentially. That's the one that we've shown off on the channel a number of times with new releases and so forth at this stage. So, we're going to start with the newest one, and we're going to go through the other one as well.
So the way that it works is, Shiho, sort of they've been around for a while. So when we say that the newest star set, the faction itself has been around for a bit. They've only had really one model, which was Drunken Master. But then obviously because they're sort of coming back, into the story, they've been released with a new starter set, which is got a mix of sort of samurai and ashigaru. So the Shiho sort of background is they were previously in power. Then the prefecture of Ryu, the good guys, overthrow them, and they're basically on the run, and they've basically sort of changed sort of fighting style. So previously they would be they were an army sort of faction, very similar to Ryu, but because of the fact they're on the run, they can't really stay in one location all the time. They've changed and they've had to learn and adapt. So their play style is very different. So they're very guerrilla warfare style of fighting, very hit and run tactics, sort of a lot of ambush, and you'll see flank throughout this sort of faction. So you'll be able to choose at the start of the game which side of the board your models will come on. This faction, I wouldn't say it's beginner friendly, but I would say it's intermediate, but also the models are fantastic and beautiful because they're part of the new sculpting sort of range. In fact, it's actually the Wolf faction that brought me back into Bushido after a bit of a hiatus, and then I sort of was like, okay, cool, we got a new edition. Let me learn about it. But the models are fantastic, but they play very differently. So the Shiho samurai aren't that great compared to the Ashigaru models. But the Shiho samurai are good because the way it works is the Ashigaru have sort of been around a lot longer. They're a little bit more of a veteran because when you overthrow a power, you basically try to sever all bloodlines. And a lot of the Shiho guys are quite young. There's very few surviving older samurai that have the training and the ability. So a lot of them are learning. So you'll see a bit of a paradigm shift, a bit of out of the norm. So with Ryu, samurai and Minamoto, samurai the big fighters. The Ashigaru models have got a lot more sort of ability and a lot better.
Yeah.
Compared. So just a little disclaimer first, because people will go, "What? That's samurais." Yeah. But
this is the big thing with the Shihos. The whole story of the Shiho, they've been in the lore since the start. But like you said, there's only ever been the one model. We've always known this was coming, but now we finally have them. All of their samurai were destroyed. So the reason that, their skills just aren't there because these guys are in the middle of trying to survive, essentially.
Yeah.
It's going to be 10 or 15 years before they have proper real samurai. But they won't survive if they don't at least try. So you've got a very different dynamic there. And I like the fact that the background for the armies determine what the rules are, as opposed to this is a really rich story, but all of their characters are the same as everybody else's characters. Yeah. GCT, I like the fact that GCT do it that way.
And you'll see that a lot of their models have got a theme, and in terms of it plays as if the story was there. They're really cool. So we'll touch on some of the models. I'll let you go first. What model would you like to discuss?
I'm just going to start from the start. I just think it's easier.
Sure.
So I've got Shiho Takuya. So
Takuya, yeah.
he is loyal and he's a samurai. He costs 20 rice. We've got 3 melee and can boost it for 3. Moves 4. We've got 6 wounds, 2 range. You can boost it for 3. He generates 2 ki to a maximum of 6. So he's got the katana, which has a +1 strength. He's got the parry 1 ability. He's got combo attack 1, sidestep attack nothing. He's got bravery, leadership, loyal 1 within 16 inches, prowess melee 1, tactician 1, and vengeance Takashi. He has 2 key abilities. His first one is Awe. So enemy models in the pulse gain a frightened marker. Cost you 2. The pulse is 6 inches. That's only once per game, though. You've also got Move It, which will cost you 4. This model's controller chooses up to 3 other friendly Ashigaru's model within the pulse area of effect, so that's 8 inches. Those models immediately perform a walk action up to their move statistic in inches. So it's a free movement, basically. That's really good. You're only going to be... you could potentially pull that off twice. Potentially.
Yeah. This guy in your starter would be your basically the leader of the sort of the group. He's your better fighter.
Yeah, he's your leader. He's your lieutenant. He fulfills your warlord type thing. Basically.
Yeah. Like he's your heavier hitter in the box set, and all box sets usually have a melee character. The fact that he's got he's got leadership +1 for everyone within 6 inches. That's really good. Melee prowess 1. I mean, he's a samurai. That's really good. But tactician 1 is really good because he adds +1 to the dice roll to determine who goes first.
Yeah.
So when you're fighting, prefecture Ryu, that also helps. It kind of evens the playing field because they have a lot of tactician as well. But also, what I really love about this guy, and we're talking about thematics, is vengeance to Takasha. So any of the samurai, so not the Ashigaru guys, because they don't they don't like the prefecture of Ryu, but they hate the samurai because they're the ones that sort of put the sword to their fellow brothers and stuff. So the way that vengeance works is this model's melee weapon gains brutal 1 and +1's melee strength when it's resolving in a melee exchange with a Takashi model.
Yeah.
So brutal 1, which adds +1 to your dice roll, and you get +1 strength on top of his already +1 strength. So this guy effectively against a samurai has +2 strength.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really good.
And like I was saying earlier, I like the fact that GCT do that. Like, because it doesn't affect everything, but this is their enemy. This is the people that slaughtered them for no reason. It's all shades of grey, and it really works. And it does it in a way that, you know what? It doesn't break anything either. I mean, it's not stupidly broken. It's just, it makes sense.
It's thematic, and that's what's good about it. And as we've always said in pretty much every Bushido video, is having options on your card is brilliant because you can't do something this turn, there might be an option for you. Like Move It is fantastic because in this box set, there are two other Ashigaru models. I'm pretty sure there's the Archer guy, but with this guy, there are other Ashigaru models that will benefit them, and the fact that they don't spend an activation token to walk, you're going to get up the field very, very quickly.
Yeah, which again,
it's
in theme. Would you like to go over Kazuki?
Yeah, Kazuki, I like this guy. So he is he's 15 rice. He's a loyal Ashigaru. He's got a melee pool of 3. He can boost that for 3. He's got a range of 3. He can boost that for 3 ki. He's got movement of 4, typical human sort of movement. He's got 1 ki generation, but he can hold 6. He's got 6 health, typical sort of Ashigaru. He's got a Tanto, which is -1 strength. He's got sidestep defense 0, so this faction is all about sort of like moving around. That's really, really good. And he's got a Dakai. He's got which has a reload 1, +1 strength, and its range is 5, 10, and 15. He's light-footed. He's got Vengeance Takashi. And his ability, which I love, is Flame Arrows. So this actual model, which you can see, he's got a flame arrow, and underneath him he's got a sort of like an oil jar. So basically lights the arrows on fire. So deploy a 15 millimeter base on the table with line of sight within 15 inches of this model until the end phase of the area of the base is normal, blocking large terrain. This feat cannot be used while this model has a reload marker. This model gains a reload marker. So this is basically like a portable, like within line of sight, rice bale. Yeah. Like it's fantastic for 1 key. And it's a simple action. Just that's fantastic. He like we talked about, he's got brutal 1 against Takashi and +1 melee strength, which is really good. What else has he got? This model, when this model declares a wait action to remove a reload marker, its ranged weapon gains light weight until the end phase. So if you're reloading, you can move, and just that becomes for a very fast-moving faction. That ability is fantastic to have on a range support model.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's also another range model in this faction as well. But for 15 rice, this guy's awesome. He's a competent fighter because, as I mentioned, the Ashigaru are a bit stronger. So, and that's that sort of throws people off because the fact that he's got the same melee pool as a samurai is really, really, really good.
Yeah,
for 15 rice, as a must take.
Yep, no, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And the model again, the model's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Just letting you know as well, because I've built this guy. You can actually clip off that oil base, or that little oil jar, and you can actually place it on the base wherever you want. It's so you can it's sort of placed just past his foot. So yeah, you can actually clip it and put it down in the center if you really wanted. It doesn't have to be down by his foot. Just a little FYI for everybody.
I like that.
Especially for those who've got especially for those who've got like those resin bases and they're worried about it.
Yeah, no, completely understand. Coming up next, we have Wimpy, which is an unfortunate name. Costs you 12 rice. He's a loyal samurai. 2 pull melee. You can boost it for 3. 3 in ranged, which you can boost for 3. He moves 4. Generates 2 to a maximum of 6. He's got the same 6 health. He's got a katana, +1 strength, parry, combo attack, sidestep attack. So that's the same as the first one I covered. He's got bravery, booted, flank, prowess melee 1, vengeance Takashi. So very, very similar at this point. His first ability is Nuki Do. It's 1, but this is an instant. When this model does not have the initiative, it gains +1 melee pool, dodge 1, and defensive until the end of the current melee exchange. So realistically, you don't want this guy to have the initiative. You kind of want them to have the initiative with this guy because it just helps you. So either they have to let you go first and then regret letting you go first, or they take first turn and then regret having you take first turn. There's no winning on that at all. I love it. He's also got precision, which is also an instant. Oh, both of these cost 1. I missed that. This model's weapon gains Pierce 1 until the end of this activation. His unique effect, in the starting phase, you may place this model within 1 inch of its current position. So I really like this guy. This guy's... There's really no winning. Like, there's no disadvantage with this guy, really.
Yeah, so that ability works really well with flank as well. So it allows you to come on the side. So the way that flank work is when this model is deployed, this model's controller must choose whether or not it's using the flank or not. So you basically put him aside if you want, or you can deploy him as normal. So If you're deploying flanked, you sort of come on. So this model declares the model is using flank, and then is left elsewhere. And instead of before the game, the owner player makes a note. So you write down secretly where you which turn, and the flanking model is arriving. And this is all hidden information, I should say. The model must arrive on turn 2, 3, or 4. Can't be on the first turn. In the starting phase, the turn revealed the number of deployed models anywhere along the chosen edge, but not the opponent's deployment zone.
Yes, that's important.
Yeah, so that's how flank sort of works. So if you've got a mission where you've got the 3 zones or idols, you can pop up about halfway through on the deployment side on one of the sides, but it is hidden information, so you have to write it down, and then you have to sort of reveal that you are doing it, and obviously you reveal to your opponent, Wimpy is coming on this turn in this location, so that way it's not so it's not just saying, oh yeah, I was going to deploy there when you're not. You have to reveal it.
Yeah. It's also probably for booted as well. This only applies at the start of the game, but if you do come on using flank, you may immediately make a walk. That's huge.
Yeah, very, very good. So I played a game against I think his name was Jason, I believe it was. Funny enough, not you, but a different Jason. But he had Hiroto come on, the Black Eagle come on. Oh no, it was Drunken Master, I think it was. But he has booted, and the fact that he comes on the side and then walks, it throws you off. It's just this this good fighter coming on. So Wimpy's sort of like a cheaper version of that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
For 12 rice, and he's a samurai model. He's got melee prowess, which is fantastic. He's got that sort of that thematic sort of theme with vengeance there, and also his Nukido sort of ability. So the once per turn ability is really, really cool. As you can see, as we sort of mentioned earlier, you can see his melee isn't that great because he's still quite a young samurai. He's still learning his way. But yeah, this model is fantastic as well. I just love that pose and the little the straw.
The straw is the one that makes it for me. Did you want to cover Yasuke?
Yasuke. So, excuse me. She is a 10 rice model. She's a loyal samurai. She's got melee 2. She can boost that for 3. She's got range 3. Boost that for 3. Movement 4. Typical health of 6. She's got 2 ki. Hold 6. She's got her spear. So she's got +1 strength. She's got reach, powerful attack 1, and sidestep attack. So for a model that's got reach, sidestep attack is fantastic with that, and powerful attack will also sort of help. She's got bravery, booted, endurance, flank, melee prowess, vengeance, Takashi. Her key abilities, for 2 keys, she's got Kiro, which is an instant, and it's within a target of 6 inches. So target friendly faction samurai models with a rice cost of more than this model to gain +1 melee pool and range pool until the end phase. That's really, really good. So that's the one per turn. So she's sort of she's a competent fighter, but also she can boost your fellow samurai as well to make them better. So she can definitely help out Wimpy, and she can help out the other samurai. I also like her for this ability as well, which is Umbrella Block. This model gains parry 1 until the current activation is resolved. So we've sort of mentioned parry a couple of times. I'll just touch on it now for those who are watching. This model adds +1 to its defense result when calculating the defense result in a melee exchange. Pretty good, especially for a low-key model. But, she's really, really good. For 10 rice, she can boost your fellow samurai and be quite a competent fighter.
Yeah.
Might just touch on endurance, because she has this. I don't think Wimpy did. But this model suffers no melee penalties for being exhausted.
That's nuts.
So
that's really, really, really good.
Especially for she's got a low melee pool. That helps. That makes her pretty good.
So that's Sayaka. I'm going to go back to Yasuki, who starts very, very similar, except she's 11 rice Otherwise, all of the rest of her results are the same. So you got the 2 melee, you got the 3 ranged, 4 move, 6 wounds, generates 2 to a maximum of 3. However, she uses the katana, which has a +1 strength, and she's also got the Dai Kaiyu with reload 1. That's a +1 strength as well for 5, 10, 15. She's got bravery, booted, flank, prowess melee, vengeance, Takashi. So you should be starting to see the theme of this particular faction by now. Her key ability is called Suriashi. After a melee exchange... Sorry?
Yeah, Shuriashi, yeah, you got it right.
After a melee exchange is complete, this model may move away from the enemy model until it leaves its zone of command, at which point its movement ends. So that's very useful. Hence, this is your hit and run tactics coming in, essentially. When this model declares a wait action to remove a reload marker, its ranged weapon gains light weight until the end phase. So we've seen before on a couple of their models now. Yeah. So this is a really good starter box. Like, there's nothing in this that really... Because in a couple of the starter boxes, they're kind of like, it's a good place to start, but there's always going to be better stuff in the list to grab. There's not really a lot in this that you would go, well, I just don't see the point in taking that.
Yeah, there's a lot of options with this. Yeah. You can lean heavily into the Ashigaru and take like the regular loyal Ashigaruman. What's actually quite good about this faction, I should probably touch on, is because a lot of them, the males were during the Dragon Wars, I should say, were put to death. This faction has quite a lot of female models. So not only they do, and a lot of their male models are quite older. Well, some of the Ashigaru models are quite older, but there's a lot of really like long flowing hair and everything like this in this faction. They are very beautiful models to paint because of the new sculpt. But also just, I mean, it's just really cool that they have kept true to the storyline. So they've added a lot more female models, which makes sense in this sort of faction. So what's really cool with Yuzuki is just that ability with a zone of control leaving. Don't forget that zone of control ends at the 180-degree arc, so you could potentially set this model up to move into the person's rear and then flank them. So this is their hit and run sort of tactics, which is really, really good. So yeah, you're right. All these models in the starter set are quite unique and they work well with each other, which is what you want in a starter set.
Yeah. Now, before we go on to our recommendations on what to add to this, and people that have played Shiho already probably know the first one that we'll mention, I want to touch on the theme that comes with the box. Guerrilla Warfare. You may choose any one of the following in any starting phase. Each ability may only be chosen once. After using 2 of these abilities, discard this card. So the first one is move each friendly model that is currently base to base with an enemy model until it leaves the enemy zone of control. We literally just talked on that.
Yeah.
Second one, all key boosts for friendly models cost 1 fewer key tokens until the end phase.
That's
you don't have enough key and you really want to get something off, that'd be the perfect time to be doing that. Friendly models with marked wound boxes may re-roll defense dice until the end phase. I'm a little bit hurt. This is going to help me survive longer because I'm used to surviving. I've been doing it with no home and no nothing for too long.
Yeah.
And finally, for each friendly model currently elsewhere using the flank trait, immediately re-choose its arrival turn. You may not choose turn 1. And table edge as if it just gained flank. So, you can have loyal models and Hiroto.
I think I really like this theme. Just the fact that you can choose that, like once per activation. If you choose to, you discard the card. So if you really need those in a crucial pinch, you can just go, yep, I'm going to do both of them, and I'll throw away the card.
Yeah.
So pretty good for like maybe an end game sort of maneuver. But that flank option is fantastic. So if there's if something is going wrong or something is not turning out the way that you wanted to, the fact that you can change that ability on a dime,
yeah,
it's fantastic. It's really, really worth having. The key boost is also fantastic for especially for your low generating key models like Yakugaru and everything. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to talk about the Black Eagle himself because he's fantastic.
Yeah, and this is the one that everybody would have not seen coming. Everybody's going to be really surprised that we're recommending this.
Now, just letting everybody know, if you wanted to, you could go the cheaper option and take Drunken Master because it has to be Hiroto. Drunken Master is limited edition, sort of, so very hard to get your hands on. If you have got one, lucky you, fantastic you. If not, might want to wait. He's a cheaper sort of model, but this is the one. This is the armored one. This is the one where he's done with his day drinking. He's had enough. He's gone. All right, cool. I've had enough fun going around. With meeting all my brotherhood, meeting all these models, and going on these adventures and everything. I'm going to take the fight to Ryu. So he's 27 rice. So so this faction starter was almost about 70 points. This guy's going to put you very close to 100. So he's got melee pool of 4. He can boost that for 3. He's got a movement of 4. He can boost his movement for 3. He's got range 4, boost that for 3. He generates 3 ki a turn, and he can bank 6. He's got katana. I should mention, sorry, he's got 7 wounds, so he's a bit stronger than your regular samurai. He's got a katana, which has got +1 strength, combo attack 1, sweep attack 1, Eagle's flight defense 0, so he gets that for free. He's got armor 2. He's got assassin. He's got booted. He's got endurance. He's got fearless. He's got flank. He's got hatred drunken master. So if you're playing a person who's got drunken master, he's like, I hate you because I hate the person that you are because I hate myself. Like most drunk people. Anyway, he's got melee prowess 1. He's toughness 1. He's got vengeance prefecture. So that's the whole entire faction. This guy's got a lot of rules.
Yeah. This guy's nuts.
Let's go. Yeah. With 27 rise, he better be. So improvise. This guy's great. So this is a once per game ability. So for 3 ki, it's instant and it's personal, so it affects just him. Your opponent may not use instant or active effects until the end of the current activation. Apply any non-exceptional special attack and any one non-exceptional special defense to this model's melee exchange at no cost this activation. This model can only use the special abilities this activation. After the activation ends, this model may move up to its movement statistic in inches.
So here's the one that comes to mind for me, but correct me if I'm wrong on this. Oh, Master Enos, you want to make me disappear from the game along with yourself? I'm sorry, you can't do that this turn.
That's Goku Yappa, or whatever it is. Yeah, that ability. I believe that is correct. Yeah. But 3 ki, that's really, really good. Especially if you're going up against something that you know is going to put a hurt on you.
Yeah.
Because all special attack, on the model's card is all open information, not when they're using it. But the fact that you can just prevent that from happening is really, really good.
Yeah.
He's got Kawasai. So for 2 ki, it's instant. So enemy models cannot declare the use of special attack or defense in melee exchange with this model until the current activation is resolved. Again, that will be the same as like that ability there. So if you know that, so for example, a lot of prefecture Ryu have got, especially the samurai, have got critical attack. Can't use it.
Or Ito with their sidestep defense. Because he's been around that long and he's actually sobered himself up now. He knows how to counter everything. So he just shuts it down.
Well, this guy, so this guy's he's the Black Eagle. The reason why he's called the Black Eagle in the lore is sort of he's like the black sheep of the family, but he's the only surviving one, really. So he's sort of, and he's gone around the Jwar Isles. People he has met are from the Jwar Isles. Some models he's met, also people he's met are not from the Jwar Isles, outside of it. And you'll see that in the Brotherhood theme, which Brotherhood box set, which we'll cover later on down the track, little sneak peek. But I like this as well. Overall, for 2 rice, is have to be the active, and it's 6 inches. It's a once per turn. Target a non-exhausted enemy model target non-exhausted enemy model gains an impetuous marker. So what you can do is you can target a model that, and then go, you're impetuous now. That means that model has to activate before the other ones. So you can, if you could see something coming up that's going to be a problem against this guy, you can say, for example, like, I don't know, big, large Oni's coming towards him. You can go, no, that model over there is going to activate before that large Oni.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So this guy's unique effect is exceptional defense, eagle flight defense. If the defense is successful, this model may move 3 inches after the melee exchange is resolved.
That free 3-inch move is amazing.
Yeah, so eagle flight defense is so far, I believe he's the. Actually, no, that's incorrect. There's a couple of other models that have it. But yeah, so just that ability, being able to move after the melee exchange is 3 inches, just I'm going to leave. Just because I don't need to be here right now.
Yeah.
This guy is fantastic for 27 rice. He's really, really good. So the way that assassin works is if he's charging, so if he's in combat with a model and he's sort of surprised them, when you're rolling your wound chart, you roll 3 dice and you can add 2 of those. So you can get some really high numbers really, really quickly if you flank him in the side.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy can do some some awesome work.
Yeah.
He's really, really, he's scary. Like the tough one, the melee exchange, like the fearless, like the booted and the endurance. Just no endurance, no suffered a penalty for being exhausted. Like he's a hard one to take down.
Yeah, very much so. Next up, we have Masaki. Masaki is one of the really, really sexy looking archer models that we had released recently. Loyal, Samurai, available for 12 rice. 2 melee, boost it for 3. 3 ranged, boost it for 3. 4 inches, 6 wounds, generates 2 ki, can bank 6. Has a katana for a +1 strength. Counter strike defense 1, sidestep attack, and combo attack 1. And their Daikaiyu also has a +1 strength, 5, 10, and 15, and reload 1. She's got bravery, booted, dodge, flank, prowess melee, 1, vengeance Takashi, and we got 2 abilities for ki. First one is an instant, cost you 1. It's called Dabana. After causing damage in a melee exchange, this model may move away from a defender until it leaves its zone of command, at which point its movement ends. So, like we were saying with the others, precision! This model's weapon gains Pierce 1 until the end of its activation. So both of those only cost 1. They're instant. Like, there's really, really easy to access. Unique effects. When this model declares a wait action to remove reload markers, its range weapon gains lightweight until the end of the phase. So she's getting that same ability that a couple of the other ones that we've seen has. And she's just gorgeous. I love this model so much.
Yeah, she's well. So we talked about when we were building these sort of lists. We sort of were talking about what options we could take. Obviously, we were like, I mean, if you're playing Shiho, you want Hirota. He's amazing. But then also we're talking about like adding more, one ranged and samurai to the faction that have some abilities. Precision can also not only be used on her melee, it can also be used on her range because it's instant.
Yeah.
So you can go, I'm going to shoot, and I got Pierce 1. That's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Just the fact also like Dabana, where she can move out of a zone of control, is really, really, really helpful. Just especially, she doesn't have armor. Like most of your guys aren't going to have armor apart from Hirota.
Yeah.
Just makes your models a little bit more survivable. But for 12 rice, she also will what was her name again? Sorry, it was Sayaka. Her ability, where gains +1 melee pool, she benefits from that ability as well.
Yeah.
Just you can your models will lean on each other and work together because that's the theme to be able to to do a lot of damage. And her melee pool when she has counter strike defense, that's amazing. Counter strike defense is amazing.
Yeah.
Sidestep attack, 0 is really good, and combo attack also. Just all these, she has all these abilities which make her quite a bit of like a sort of a Swiss Army knife, you know, for you to use in any sort of situation that you need. Plus, she's got range. She's got combat and range. Like it's for 12 rights, she's fantastic. Plus, she's a beautiful looking model. Yeah, you'll probably
Very much
see
so.
her down below. See what I'm talking about.
There's also Shota. Do you want to cover on Shota?
I like Shota a lot. I really, really do. So he is 18 rice. He's a loyal samurai. So he's got a melee pool of 2, but can boost it for 3. He's got movement of 4. He's got 6 health. He's got he's got range of 3, and he can boost that for 3. He's got he generates 2 ki a turn, and he can hold 8. So this guy, he's got a katana. So he's got parry 1. He's got weak. He's got combo attack 1 and sidestep attack 1. So he's also got the koyo. So he's got the long bow. He's got reload 1. His range band is 5, 10, and 15, and he's got +1 melee. +1 range strength to that. This guy's got bravery, booted, flank, melee prowess 1, range defense 1, really really good, and he's got vengeance Takashi. So his ability for 3 ki is Eagle Eye. The medium range band for this model's ranged weapon is unlimited until the end of the current activation. Okay. So this guy's got a unique ability. Yeah, very, very good. So you just need medium is 5 before you take anything. So that's pretty good, especially on 3 dice, and you can boost it for 3. He's going to bank up a lot of ki quickly. This guy's unique effect, Kyoto. So this model may choose to use this ability when it chooses to use its Daikoya, so the ranged weapon, during a ranged attack. This model's ranged weapon gains reload +1, and this model does not need line of sight to target. A ranged attack ignores cover and ignores blind state during the ranged attack action. When this model declares a wait action to remove a reload marker, its ranged weapon gains lightweight to the end phase.
Yeah. This guy is nasty.
Yeah, especially for somebody who's flanking, coming on the side, and he doesn't require a line of sight. That's really, really, really good. You can pick off like cheaper, like smaller models, or like your sort of cheaper models, or like line trooper models. This guy will be able to do a lot of like hurts or something.
Yeah.
With that ability.
So with this initial box set, there's obviously multiple ways that you can go. But as you can see from some of these additional characters, if you're the sort of person that wants to just go a gun line, there's really no reason why you couldn't do that. I mean, it's going to make you very, very glass cannony, but you could go purely that direction if you wanted to. I don't think that's the way I'd recommend, but you could go in that direction if you're the sort of person with the brain to get around the difficulties that's going to give you. Again, it's not the way that I'd recommend it, but you could go in that direction.
Also, I should just mention that this faction, like all of its range guys, aren't just samurai. Some of them are also Ashigaru as well. So we also kind of talked about other options on what to add. I would probably, if you were to do this box set, I would probably recommend getting if you were wanting to expand on this box set, I would probably recommend getting the loyal Yariman or the loyal Kyoka. So the Kyoka are the ranged Ashigaru, and the Yarimen are the combat Ashigaru. They're the spearmen. I might just bring up the Yarimen right now. Just about them. So they're 12 rice. You can have 2 of them. In the box set, you've got a male and a female, just letting you know. So you can have an A and a B model. So they got 6 health each. They got a melee pool of 3. You can boost that for 3. Movement of 4. Range of 3, but they don't have any range. They generate 1 ki. They can hold 6. They've got the Yari, which is the spear that they're carrying. It's got 0 strength. It's got reach. These guys have got vengeance Takashi, and they have the ability which is called hold a line. So this is a once per turn ability, cost 1 key, and it's an instant. During an enemy model's activation, when that model moves into base-to-base contact with another friendly Ashigaru model, this model can move up to its movement in inches to attempt to get into base-to-base contact with an enemy model. So with that enemy model. So the fact that one of your Ashigaru has been moved into combat with, and this guy can help out and support.
Yeah,
that's really, really good, especially for a fast-moving faction. That ability certainly helps.
So always leave these guys within 4 inches of each other. You get a free movement if you do.
Yeah. They'll work together quite well. Plus, also, this guy will also work well with the Takayua, with his ability, which is Move It, where he can move other Ashigaru models as well. So
yes.
The Kaidoka, sorry, the bowman ones, we'll bring them up as well.
Yep.
So they've got a melee pool of 3. As we mentioned, all the Ashigaru have got higher melee. Can boost for 3. Movement of 4, you can take 2 models. This when you buy this blister comes with a male and a female model again. 14 rice each. Range of 3. 1 key can hold 6. Typical Ashigaru. So they got a Tanto. They got sidestep defense 0. That's fantastic. On a range model, that's fantastic. -1 strength in combat. That's fine. And they've got the bow, +1 strength. It's got 5, 10, and 15, and reload 1 for that. It's got Vengeance Takashi. These guys have got an ability called Pathfinder, which costs 2 key. You have to be the active model, target of 6 inches. Target friendly model gains light foot until the end phase. So you can target another one of your range guys if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And they can move, and they can suffer no penalty for moving when shooting. So they can team up quite well. Pathfinder, that ability is fantastic for a faction that has heaps of ranged options.
Yeah. So if you want to do a gun line, you really do need to include those.
They're worth having. They're fantastic. So these have a unique effect. So while this model declares a wait action, remove that reload marker. The range gains lightweight to the end phase.
Yeah.
Just like all the other Ashiga. So you can see that these guys, they shoot range. They'll shoot and then sort of get into combat where they need.
Yeah.
So these are some additional sort of mentions on what to add. There are some probably down the line. There's some more models coming, which I reckon there was a preview of one model, which was a Ronin, which is going to come into this faction that has leech. So you can leech key and everything like that. He's quite a cool looking model. I can't remember his name at the moment, but there's a big push on this faction. Pretty much every wave currently, because they're the new hotness or they're the new release.
Yeah,
they're going to get a lot of options. So if you're wanting to start Shiho and you want to just do the regular Shiho models, you're going to have a plethora of options very, very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But in saying that, this is the Shiho, and we mentioned at the start that there's more than one faction within that. So we're going to have a look at Open Rebellion. First thing about Open Rebellion that we need to mention, this is literally a 100 rice game in a box. Like, literally, you can take this on the table. You don't need to add anything to this at all. You want to have a quick chat about, just because there are some differences with how they play?
Yes, so the Wolf Clan is a very small clan, and it was loyal to the Eagle Clan, and they sort of worked with them, and they operate like a wolf pack. That's basically how they work. So a lot of them have got so they gain benefits from working together in combats. They've got a lot of the faction doesn't have a lot of options because it's a faction. It's basically it's a theme in a box. There is a cool model which is the basically Wolf and Cub. We'll touch on him later. But this faction has got some really good melee guys, and has also because it's Shiho, has got a lot of ranged options there. There is one model in the box that can only be taken in Open Rebellion, which is which is Tasuki. So Tasuki and the Wolves can only be taken in the Open Rebellion faction. I have a feeling that we're going to see more of these theme in a box come up,
Yes,
more
I
and more and
agree.
more. And what they're going to do for each faction, I would say. And I would imagine that what's going to happen is in each of those boxes, they're going to reward you for that. Say, like, oh, you want to play that? That's cool. You gain this one model that for your faction, which gives you a bit of a boost. But yeah, I, for one, love these guys. They've got that traditional sort of samurai movie sort of Ronin sort of hats and sort of rice hats. They've got like sort of cloaks because they're sort of like, and they've all, a lot of them have got, I'm covering my mouth while I'm talking on air. They've got a lot of like balaclavas for like sort of like hiding in the shadows and striking where they need to.
Yeah.
Um, so these guys operate quite differently from your Minamoto faction. The Minamoto bear can go in by itself. These guys work fantastically together.
Yeah.
I'm going to touch on, well, why not? I got her open, or him open. Tazuki.
Yep.
So this is the model that can only be taken in this faction. It's an alpha, it's a samurai, and it's a wolf. 21 rice. It's got a melee pool of 3. Can boost that for 3. Has got a movement of 4, but can boost that for 3 key. Has got 6 health, a range of 3. Doesn't going to use it. Generates 2 key and holds 6. It's got Dakasho, so +1 strength. It's got combo attack 1, fantastic, and drag defense. We haven't seen that a lot in our sort of previews, but basically, is after the combat is worked, you move that model away and you move up with it as well. So if you need to move a model out of a zone of control, like for or away from another friendly model, you can do that. Very thematic there with the wolf ability. So this one's ability has got bravery, coordinated attack wolf, endurance, leadership wolf, increase it by 1 by within 6 inches, pack 2, 6 inches, prowess melee, and tireless. So the way we'll touch on tireless because this is you'll see this come up a lot. So the way that tireless works is you do not suffer losing an activation unless you are the active model. So if somebody moves into combat with you and at the end of the exchange, normally you would lose an activation token each. But if you're tireless, you don't. So then you can only use your activations when you choose. Makes this model really, really good in combat.
Yeah.
Really, really. Okay. So Tazuki has 3 abilities. She's got Dokote. So this model gains Feint 1 for 2 key until the current activation is resolved, and that's an active ability. Gains Hunt. So 1 key active, 6 inches. So target a friendly model gains Tireless until the end phase. That's a once per turn ability. So you can choose where you want to do that, which is really good. And Vicious Strike. 1 key active. So this model's weapon gains Sharp +1 until the current activation is resolved. So Sharp really helps you against like tough models. It's really, really good. Unique effect. This model gains +1 melee pool when engaged in a melee exchange with an exhausted model. So very thematic wise, like wolves will chase down their targets and wait till they're exhausted and they'll pounce. So that's how a wolf pack will work.
Yeah.
This model can only be recruited into the warband using the Open Rebellion theme. She is also, Tazuki is a 30 mil model.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about is that. Seeing as I'm touching on her, on Tazuki, I might as well bring up Tazuki's pack. So you got 2 wolves. Everybody's got 2 wolves inside of them. It depends on which one you feed gets the biggest. Okay, so you got the black and white wolf. You can paint them however you want. It's up to you. 6 rice each. They got a melee pool of 2. They've got 0 range. They're a wolf. They've got movement 5, very, very fast. They've got 4 health each, 1 key for key feats and tests that they have to do. They've got teeth, +1 strength against sharp, and they've got sidestep defense 0. Really, really, really good. Small's got aloof. They're aware, so they can't be surprised, which is good because they can smell you coming. They got bodyguard Tazuki, 1 inch, so they can move up to 1 inch, which is good. They got charging bonus of fear 6. So if they're charging at you, they cause fear 6. They've got coordinated attack wolf. That doesn't mean just the wolf pack itself. They can be any model in this faction, which is really cool. They got endurance, so they don't suffer any melee penalties from being exhausted. They got light-footed, so they can move through cover really good. And they got pack 0 to 0. These guys' unique effects are: this model gains bravery when declaring actions, targeting, or selecting a model already in base-to-base contact with a friendly model. So if you've got a fearless model that's in base-to-base contact with one of your models, you gain bravery, which is really, really helpful. This model gains fearless when declaring an action, targeting, or selecting a model already in base-to-base contact with Tazuki, or when using bodyguard. That also is very helpful as well. This model gains +1 melee pool when engaged in melee exchange with an exhausted model, as we mentioned, that's how a wolf pack hunt. And this model can only be recruited in a warband using the open theme rebellion.
Yeah.
Sorry, the theme open rebellion. I really like these models. They're really, really cool looking. They're beautiful sculpts. Tatsuki has got this really cool sort of pose. She's pulling out her sword, so just about to draw it, just like in a typical sort of samurai sort of movie. Really, really cool. Drawing it out, just ready to strike. Yeah, these guys are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the models. Coming up next, we have... I'm going to go into Gorak. So he's going to cost you 19.
The man, the myth, the legend, Gorak.
He's a samurai, wolf. He's got 3 pull melee, 3 ranged. He moves 4. He's got 6 health. He generates 2 ki, but he can hold 8. He's got a no dachi, which is +2 strength. Powerful attack 1, sidestep defense 0. Bravery, coordinated attack Tanaka. Endurance, indomitable 1. Pack 1 within 6 inches. Pueros melee, and steadfast. He's got 2 key abilities. We've got umbrella block. We've seen a few times now. You gain parry 1 until the current activation is resolved. That one's instant. You've also got vicious strike. This model's melee weapon gains sharp +1 until the current activation is resolved. His unique effect, this model gains +1 melee pool when engaged in a melee exchange with an exhausted model. So we're starting to see a little bit of their theme come in with a couple of these now.
Yeah. This guy's great. He's like every box set has got a sort of a melee hitter or a big hitter. And this guy is it. Gorak is really, really cool. I mean, to be fair with you, if you're looking at this model, if he had armor, he'd be basically a Minamoto samurai, but he's better because he's got the coordinated attack, and also he's got he gains the benefit against anybody that's exhausted. This guy, that 2+2 strength with powerful attack, that goes to if you pull that off, that's 5, so +5 to your melee roll.
Yeah,
that's good. Sidestep defense 0 is amazing. It's fantastic. Coordinated attack, he's got indomitable 1, so he doesn't get outnumbered by 2 models, and steadfast is also really, really useful as well.
Coming up
I like
next,
him a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Nabucco, 16 rice, samurai, wolf.
Nabucco.
So again, fits within the theme. 3 melee, boost it for 3. 3 ranged, boost it for 3. 4-inch move, 5 health. Generates 2 ki, can hold 6. He also has a daisho. Sidestep defense 1, +1 strength. And a daikayu, which is also +1 strength. Reload 1, powerful attack 2, range band of 5, 10, and 15. Gains bravery, courage 1, endurance, pack 0 within 0, prowess melee 1. He has the same Dakota that we just read, and he has precision shot, which is the ranged version of the ability that we just read. You gain pierce. His unique effect is that he gains +1 melee pull when engaged in melee exchange with an exhausted model. So this is, again, our theme continues to carry on.
Powerful attack on a ranged attack is amazing. It does cost you 2 dice though, but I mean you can boost his ability, if you wanted to, with 3, he's going to generate potentially up to turn 2. He's going to generate a lot of ki quickly because generates 2 a turn.
Yeah.
This model is really, really good. For a 16 rice shooting model, this has got some really, really cool options there. Just competent fighter, got the sidestep defense 1, really, really good, and just that powerful attack. That can, if you need that option, you can use that option.
Yeah,
I like having options in warbands. Really, really cool. I'm going to talk about. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna tell you to go for the next one.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Muna.
Yep.
So 14 rice. So this is another ranged model. Has got melee pool of 3, can boost that for 3. Can move, has got movement 4, can boost that for 3 ki if you need it. That's also really helpful. Range of 3, generates 2 ki, can hold 6. I've got the Daisho, push defense 0. Really, really good option to have, especially for a ranged model. Got the Daisho with push defense 0. Really, really good for a ranged model. That's a great option to have. +1 melee strength on that weapon. It's got the bow again, +1 melee strength. It's got a reload 1, 5, 10, 15 is your range band. Really, really good ranges there. Bravery, coordinated attack, so gains +1 melee pool when you're involved with any one of these models. Endurance, light-footed, pack 0 to 0, melee prowess 1. I really like his ability, Shadow. So Pu Ki is an instant. It's a once per turn, so a pulse of 4 inches. So during an enemy model's activation, when it begins a move in the pulse, once the move is complete, this model may walk up to the movement towards the enemy model's final position. So if you're within 4 inches, by the way, your movement is 4, and that model moves, you can then move into combat with it. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Or move. Yeah, you can move to its the enemy's final position.
You only get to do that once per turn, which is fine. You don't really. I'd be shocked if you could pull it off more than that anyway.
Yeah, but shadowing, just like pretty much like a wolf, like it'll stalk its prey. This is what this guy's going to do. Really, really cool. For 14 rice, really, really good option.
Yeah. Coming up next, we've got Yue, 13 rice, samurai, wolf, 3 melee, boost it for 3, 3 ranged. She can move 4 inches. She can boost that for 3. She's got 5 health. Generates 2 ki to a maximum of 6. She's got a Naginata, which is +1 strength, reach, powerful attack 1, sidestep defense 1. She has bravery, coordinated attack Tanaka, endurance, light-footed, pack 0 within 0, prowess melee 1, and vicious strike is her key ability for 1. This model's weapon gains sharp 1 until the current activation is resolved. So, like this, like we said at the start, that this is an army in a box. Like you've got exactly what you want here. It's probably worth looking at their theme. So the Open Rebellion theme, because they have to take this one. If you want the leader, you need to have it.
Yeah. It's a really good theme. It benefits these guys. It benefits all these models. Yeah. It's really, really good.
So all models gain Scout 0-2 inches. Once per game, declare this ability in the starting phase. Enemy models with marked wound boxes receive a -1 penalty to their movement statistic until the end phase. That's nasty. Once per game in the starting phase, the opposing player loses all pass tokens and cannot generate pass tokens until the next turn. So if you have an army that's relying on pass tokens, there is a couple armies that deliberately do that, you can pull that out at the worst possible turn you can. And there's nothing they can do about it. You can only take wolf models, Ronin, Kami, and you're not allowed to take Giant Eagle. Which makes sense because obviously it's their own thing.
Yeah. So that scout ability on all of your models is fantastic. Just being able to move that closer towards like objectives or zone of control, and and potentially your targets is really really good to have. That's once per game ability for slowing down your wounded models. That plays heavily into the Wolfpack theme, and that works and makes them slower. So that ability. So I was playing Minamoto, and I was versing wolves, and that ability that hindered me so bad because all my samurai turned into movement 3.
Yeah. Now I believe you wanted to talk about the Primal Howl event card.
Yes. So this is this is definitely one of those event cards. So this faction sort of almost equals 100 points. There's a little bit of a wriggle room. It's I think from memory it's about 90. I think it's almost 90 something points, and then you can take a few event cards if you wanted to. Primal Howl would be one I would definitely consider. It's an event card. So when a friendly model uses the pack trait, the other models that activate do not remove activation counters this activation. So it requires open rebellion theme. So if you're using that pack ability, it just all you guys move up, and they don't count as activating as well. The way that pack works is when this model activates, you may choose up to X non-exhausted friendly models with the pack trait within Y, so how many inches, to also activate. So this model and each model chosen must declare a melee, ranged, or charge action against the same target. Each model resolves any movement before any melee exchanges are resolved. Melee exchanges are then resolved in order of the controlling player's choice. So, as you had seen on a lot of these models, they all had pack 0 to 0. So they have that ability to move wherever they want. And that's how pack works. So Tazuki can move up to 2 models who are 6 inches away from her into combat if they needed to, or move up as well. Pack is a really, really unique ability to have for this faction, and works really, really well.
Especially with something like this where you really don't want these guys by themselves. Like that's not going to go well for them if they're being outmaneuvered. The last character that we're going to look at today is the teased Wolf and Cub. So, Kazuo and Air is a samurai and wolf. Will cost you 25 rice. He's got 5 melee dice, and he can boost it for 3. He's got 4 ranged. He can boost that for 3 as well. He can move 4 inches. Can boost that for 3. He has 6 wounds. The cub has 2. He generates 2 ki, and he can ult 8. He has a katana, +1 strength. Reach, sharp 1, combo attack 0, counter strike defense 1, sidestep defense 0. Endurance, fearless, indomitable, 5. Last stand, pack 2 within 6 inches, prowess, melee, range defense 2, split attack, tireless, vengeance, katashi. He's got 2 abilities. Absolute mastery, cost you 1, and it's an instant. For each model that would cause a melee assist penalty on this model, even if it's being ignored by the indomitable trait, this model gains 1 melee pool and 1 melee strength until the end of its current activation. So even if it's being ignored, he still gets a bonus for it. That's nuts.
So for example, if you had, say, 3 Bakemono go into combat with this guy, 3 Bakemono, he gains +3 strength, plus his already exists, +1 strength for katana. He ignores the fact that he's outnumbered because he's got indomitable 5. Yep. So this guy is right off the bat +4 strength against those Bakemono. And he's got split attack. So you can attack each of those Bakemono if you want, -1 melee dice to you. This guy is a horde killing machine. He's fantastic.
He also has intercept, costs you 2. This is also an instant, and a pulse of 1 inch. When a friendly model in the pulse is selected for a melee action or targeted by a charge action, this model becomes the new selected target or targeted model. If the enemy model has enough movement to reach the original model, it is instead moved into base to base with this model by the shortest route, regardless of its actual movement. Unique effects. The Cub has separate wound boxes to Kazuo, mark wound boxes as usual from left to right. You must mark Kazuo's wound boxes first. This wound's last stand trait triggers when either Kazuo's 6 wounds or the Cub's 2 wounds are all marked. So, he dies before the Cub does because he's always protecting the Cub.
So the way the last stand works is even if you hit 0 wounds, you still get to do like an activation if you have any activation tokens, and then at the end of the phase, you're removed from play.
Yeah.
So for a combat monster that this guy is, that is a great ability.
Yeah. Ball or sword. This model has the aware and defense traits while the Cub has unmarked wound boxes. You may choose to lose this traits for a duration of a melee exchange, but if you do, any wounds will be marked on the Cub's boxes instead of Kazuo's. When this model uses the last stand trait, it gains activation counters up to a maximum of 2. All its attacks are critical attacks in addition to its chosen special ability. This guy's also on a 40 mil base. This guy is nasty. It's probably worth mentioning that obviously you'd be taking this guy instead of the lady and her wolves, though, because it's the only way it's the only way you get enough points to include him.
Yeah, you could take. Well, to be fair, you could drop a couple of like one of the ranged ones and the cheaper of the wolves if you really wanted to. The cheaper, the one with the spear. I think it's Muna. You could drop Muna if you wanted to. 14 rice. Anyway, you can make room for it.
Oh yeah, okay. And there's good reasons to make room for this guy.
Yeah, this model is on being on a large base. You know, he's got some sort of. This model has a lot of rules. First off, I should say.
Yes,
he is. So a lot of people look at it and go, "Oh, wow, that's a lot of information to take in. I don't want to risk it." But this guy's got some, like, he's got some massive potential. He's also, the model is fantastic. It's very wolf and cub-esque. So, you know, if you're a fan of like your traditional Japanese sort of movies and everything, you're going to go, oh, this guy's awesome. And yeah, he looks bang on perfect. So a very true rendition of it. Fantastic model. It can be daunting with this guy. He's also, he's terrifying to see on the field. I've not come across him just as of yet. I've purchased this model. I've yet to use it, but because I'm currently focused on other projects. But yeah, it's something I'm definitely wanting to paint up and work on. So you can either go aggressive if you wanted to, or and if you go aggressive, any wounds you take go on the cub, and you only got 2. So if this model didn't have that ability, it would be broken.
Yes.
So yeah. So yeah, so it has that sort of that's its Achilles heel really is the cub sort of model.
Yeah.
But the fact that like you
working in the theme and the story into the rules. I love that GCT does this. And like, to be fair, it's also a massive trait from cinema. I'm having to protect this child, and I'm really badass, but I can't because I've got to protect this person first. It just works so well.
Yeah, it's a really, really good model. He's got some. He's potent. Like he's really, really like he's dangerous. If you see him on the thing on the field, like just I would personally try to avoid him as much as possible. Or I mean, like he's got counter strike defense, so you can just roll defense dice if you wanted to, and then just rely on that ability. And then you can do some hurt. Really, really cool. Yeah, and also the fact that he's got heaps of options. Combat attack 0 is fantastic. He's going to work through durable models. Sidestep defense 0. fantastic. He's got reach, so no matter what, he's going first in the first activation because he's got that reach.
And you can't gang up on him because he gets stronger when you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a hard model to deal with, but also at the same time, I think this model is a very hard. Like this model would be, he's awesome to play with and use, but also like he would be a bit of a learning curve for a lot of people because he's got so many rules.
Yeah.
But a fantastic model.
Yeah. There was one last theme that we wanted to look at before we move on.
For the Shiho, yeah.
Yes. Which was Black Eagle's Coalition. So this is one of the options that you get for taking the Black Eagle. Loyal samurai models gain leadership. Ronin, 1 within 6 inches. Ronin models gain Scout, 1 within 1 inches. Permitted is Shiho models and Ronin models. But you cannot include Ronin special cards.
Yeah.
So it's just another option, and like you said 100 times by now, options are good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just letting anybody know that if you were to take Hiroto in your army, you can also take Eldest Brother because they're best buddies. Eldest Brother is sort of like a lower ranked Oni. He's 18 rice, and he's a combat monster. He's really, really good. So this faction has a lot of options of what you want to choose. Plus, as I said, they're new. They've got lots of options coming out and more that, to fill out those sort of ranks. But this option gives you a plethora of options of what you want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, the thing I should also say is if you were to buy, say, the Shiho starter and you were to buy the Open Rebellion one, you can use those together, but you won't be able to take Tsuki or her pack. So you could use the other samurai models if you wanted to help back up your guys. It becomes very heavy pretty quickly, but I mean they have got some abilities that will work with each other. So that is an option for players as well.
Yeah, the Shiho are one of the newer factions. And I think it's fairly obvious at this point that this is one of those factions that's going to take a little bit of work to get going right, but there's some real rewards there if you can get it going. We've touched on that with a couple of the more complicated ones at this point. There's definitely some rewards to find by using some of the more difficult factions. This is definitely another one. Plus, they're very good.
Yeah. So I mean. Kazuha and Air, they can be taken in the Shiho faction. They don't have to be in the Wolf one. They just so yeah, you can utilize all these models in whatever you want. There's heaps of options of what to play. You can lean heavily into range if that's what you want. You can go combat heavy. They've got some really cool terrain elements as well. So for example, like they've got the strawmen, they've got the Eyrie, which is the tree, which has got the eagle nest in it, which gains you abilities. There are heaps of options in here.
Yeah.
We always sort of get people like commenting on us and like, hey, why didn't you mention this or why didn't you talk on that? It's because if we would be here for several hours talking about how awesome all this stuff is. It's a lot with a lot of factions. We try to go one particular way, which would be beneficial for new starters. If you are starting this faction, try to get the terrain elements if you can. They'll help you out immensely. Get the special dice and special cards. Definitely get the special dice because you want to see the eagle fat rolls. This faction is great. It's a beautiful looking faction as well.
Yeah. So thank you very much again for joining us, and thank you again for your help, Ben, because you did most of the work on this particular episode. Join us next time when we are finally going to be touching on the one that Ben is not looking forward to. We're going to touch on the cult.
Because all these models are scary.
Oh, very scary. That's kind of the point. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you're enjoying the content of this channel, please like and subscribe. If you're in a position to do so, please check out patreon.com/gettingtabled. You receive early access to at least 80% of all videos that we put out, and you get access to the video edition of all of our podcasts the day that they're uploaded. If you'd like to check us out on social media, facebook.com/gettingtabled is the most active. We also have a Discord server. You can email our team at gettingtabled@gmail.com. If you're on either Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. And until next time,